Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Leave a comment in the comment box. Say hi. Let us know where you're tuning in from. I am in Orlando area, Florida. I'm just going to wait for some people to come in. Good morning, Lily on Instagram. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Facebook. Leave a comment in the box. Say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Good morning. Back here on Facebook. Good morning, Mona August on Instagram. Good morning, everyone. If this is your first time tuning in, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button on YouTube or and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. The more you do that, the easier it is for you to be notified when we have something going on. Good morning, John from Nigeria. Thank you so much for tuning in. So obviously, as I was saying, like us, subscribe, and follow us, just so that when I go live, you can get notified and you can ask your questions, and then also to share with other people. And I try to, come on here and give you guys news whenever there's some new immigration news that I think is noteworthy. So for those of you joining me for the first time, my name is Aisha Chidole. I'm an immigration attorney. I'm based out in Orlando, Florida, but I represent clients in all 50 states of the United States and internationally with their family immigration matter. So your location doesn't matter. We can still help you if you have a family immigration matter. So today I have a really good topic. I want to talk about proving a bona fide marriage. I get this question asked all the time, and people want to know, my husband doesn't have this, or my wife doesn't have this, so we don't share this. How can we prove that our marriage is real? So there's so many factors that are looked at when you're looking to determine whether a marriage is legitimate or not for the purposes of immigration and for the purposes of a green card. Keep in mind that, because you don't have one doesn't mean that your marriage is not real. It's just preparation and putting things together. And obviously, if somebody has been married for years when they put in their petition versus if they've been married 2 seconds ago and they put in their petition, what they have is going to be different. So one of the things that you have to be mindful is that everybody's situation is different. The key thing is making sure that you get your own stuff together so that you can get your approval. So, of course, I'm going to first talk about the basics. Did I just disconnect myself? Guys, hold on 1 second. I think I just disconnected myself from StreamYard. Let's see, where is it? Okay, there we go. And as always, you guys put your comment in the comment box or your questions. I'll get to them once I finish going through this. So I have my notes just so that I can read out all the things I want to talk about. So of course, let's first start with having a legal marriage. So the first thing is you have to prove that your marriage is real and it is legal. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you cannot be encumbered. Good morning, World Assembly on Instagram. You cannot be married to somebody else and marry a new person. That is considered bigamy. Bigamy is illegal in the United States. So a lot of times certain people might not divorce their previous spouses or they don't do it properly. And then they come into the United States and marry somebody else. They have a kid together. They believe they're in a legitimate marriage, but then they're not able to process their case because they never properly divorced. And this we're seeing a lot with a lot of our Nigerian clients. So if you're Nigerian on here, I'm speaking specifically to you right now, or any other country where this happens, where, we might give it to somebody, oh, can you help me file this divorce? I'm in the United States, blah, blah, blah. And then you come with a divorce and then your divorce is not valid, There are 2 documents that you need as a Nigerian, for instance, for a divorce. You need your divorce nisi and you need your divorce absolute. And those documents are usually checked in the judiciary system, especially if it was done in Lagos. So you want to make sure that you divorce properly. You divorce properly before you marry somebody else. So that is the first thing. And then, of course, you have to provide a legitimate marriage certificate with your new spouse. So everybody has to be divorced. Everybody has to be just in this one marriage, right? And then same thing, if you're widowed or your spouse passed away, you want to make sure that you're providing a death decree that actually confirms that your spouse did pass away, and you're free to marry. So we go into proven legal marriage to non-proven bona fide, which is what I consider, or what USCIS actually considers as good faith marriage. Because, yes, you and somebody can go to court and have a marriage, but is it good faith? Did you do it to circumvent immigration, or did you do it because you legitimately love each other and want your marriage to work? So some of the things that I always recommend is, of course, photographs. So when I say photographs, I am talking about photographs with you and other people, you guys in different places, different types of pictures. USCIS is not really interested in a bunch of pictures of you and your spouse who just have a court wedding, and you're sending me like 10 pictures of your court wedding with just you, the justice of the peace, and your spouse. Those don't carry weight. Or sending me, if you have just pictures of you and your spouse just in your room hanging out, one person doesn't have their shirt on, those do not give weight to your case. What you need are pictures with other people in the pictures, which means that, one, you're not hiding your marriage, that your marriage is real, and many of your friends and family know your marriage is real. Two, pictures of you traveling, pictures of you guys going to places, going to Disney, going to Universal. I do not know why my Instagram keeps turning off. Can you guys see me? It keeps blacking out and it's driving me crazy. Maybe it's not detecting that I'm close enough. Let me move my camera close enough. As I was saying, pictures with other people in there. If your spouse has children, or you have children, pictures of you guys with your children, showing that you've met your children, or their children, your stepchildren, parents, friends, and things like that. Now, if you have a wedding that is elaborate, it's hard to have that right now in the world of COVID, but, if you have a wedding where there are a lot of guests, then those are good. Those are good, to show that, wedding invitations, wedding gowns, the whole shebang, receptionists, those are good to show when you're talking about photographs to prove bona fides. And then another thing, and this one I specifically recommend to people who are doing consular processing. And what I mean when I say consular processing is people who are filing for their spouse while they're here in the United States and their spouses are outside of the United States. I recommend an affidavit of how you met. So a lot of times, if you're doing consular processing, you're not going to have the same information as, say, somebody who lives with their spouse here in America. They've been living together for months or years, because you're in a long distance relationship. So you're not going to have as much bona fides. So it's really important that you basically lay out in an affidavit format how you guys met, because that helps your your officer or whoever is reviewing it, understand the relationship and how you met. When those affidavits talk about stuff that are memorable, if it was your first time in that country, talk about stuff that you did that was memorable, that you remember, what you saw and what you explored. Those things are really helpful. And then another thing, of course, is affidavits from friends and family. A lot of people make this mistake where they just go and they pull out a generic template online and have an affidavit, and they have 5 people write the exact same thing, and the only thing that they change is their names. Basically, don't do that. Don't do that. Write a genuine affidavit, and your genuine affidavit should talk about how you know that spouse, how you know this couple, how they met you. Oh my goodness, Instagram keeps shutting off. It is driving me crazy. What is going on, guys? Just hold on one second, guys. I'm having technical difficulties this morning. Okay, so basically you want to write, about how you know the person, what you've done with the person, and things of that nature. You also want to make sure that you're listing your date of birth, place of birth. While an affidavit doesn't have to be notarized, if you're not going to notarize it, you want to make sure that you swear under penalty of perjury that what you're saying is the truth. But honestly, if you can get it notarized, just notarize it and not have to deal with that or forget to put that in there. And then let's get to, and I'm going to get into commingling of financial assets in a little bit. And then another thing is emergency contact. So if you have ever been listed as an emergency contact for your spouse or your spouse's children, and I can see all y'all's questions and I will try my best. Today's topic is a bit lengthy, so I'm going to try my best to answer the questions when I finish, before I have to jump off. But you can put them in the comments, and if I don't get to them today, I will definitely try to get to the questions tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow again and ask it. So as I was saying, emergency contacts are good. So if you're listed on your as their children's emergency contact in school, or their emergency contact at work, those are all good signs. Health insurance. Health insurance is really critical. If you guys have health insurance, that is a really good bona fide to show your marriage. It's much stronger than life insurance because, anybody can do a life insurance, right? But, life insurance, they don't look at it as a real financial investment in the marriage because, you can get a life insurance and pay whatever. I mean, you can add it, everything, every little bit helps, but health insurance is expensive. So if you have health insurance, and your spouse is listed on the health insurance, that is a pretty good sign that you have a bona fide marriage. Health and dental insurance. If you have vision, great, but health and dental insurance, especially health insurance, that's good. Same thing with hospital records. If you've been to the hospital before, if you've been to the doctor's office and your spouse has power of attorney, living, has, you have them listed as, your beneficiary to a bunch of things, access to your health and medical records, all those things help to show a legitimate marriage. Another thing is, of course, if you guys have children together. So if you have children together, having a birth certificate showing that you have children together is a very strong, valued document showing that you have a legitimate marriage. So that is an excellent evidence to provide if there are children born out of the marriage. And then another thing is business ownership, right? Business ownership. So if you guys have small business, side hustle, LLC, and both of you are listed on the business, sole proprietorship that you both do together, those are really good signs to show as for a bona fide marriage, because one, most people are not going to be doing business with just any random person because business has a lot to do with your money. So the fact that you're doing it with this person means that there is some legitimate marriage. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I can see you. If you're just tuning in, comment in the comment box, say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Good morning, Lily from New York. I see that you want to do this video thing with me. I don't know how to do it. That's the only thing. So you can just ask me a question. I got to figure out how to select the video thing. So, and then let's talk about the meat of what I want to talk about. So now let's talk about financial commingling. So a strong and one of the strongest ways of proving you have a legitimate marriage is finance, because USCIS understands that people do not play with their money. So if you are sharing your money with somebody else, it means that there is some legitimacy to that marriage. First things first, you should be filing taxes together. Do not go filing head of household or filing single when you're married, unless there's a plausible explanation for it. It's one thing if your spouse doesn't have a social security number and you're filing it, but after you get married or after you get your social security number while your case is pending, you better file your taxes together, bite and swallow whatever cost it is that you have to pay, in IRS taxes for that year just to get your documents. File taxes together. Some other things are, of course, a joint bank account. Now, I want to talk and focus on joint bank accounts for a second here. A lot of people will say, oh, Attorney Chidole, we have a joint bank account. Here you go. And the joint bank account, there is no transaction. There's all of maybe $100 in that account. And maybe the transaction happens once a month or twice a month. You guys, there's no point of having a bank account that's joint if you're not using it. Okay. You need to make sure that you're using your bank account. You should be using it to pay bills. If you're not using it to pay bills, you need to be using it to buy grocery. You need to be going shopping. You need to be going on vacation, whatever it is. Use your account. So they want to see money coming in and money going out, like a revolving account. And sometimes some bank accounts will actually show like debit cards. It will show like who used it. We don't want to see just one person using that account, because then it just looks like you put the other person's name on the account, but they're really not on that account. They're really not using that account. So you want to make sure that both people are using that account. Okay. And I know some of you do this susu things, and for those who don't know what susu is, it's like this money exchange where one person raises money for the month and holds all the money. Everybody sends the money to them, and then they then transfer the money to the next person for the month. It's a way of saving money. A lot of Caribbeans do it, and even some Africans do that. If you're doing that, honestly, sometimes that causes confusion, because it's like, who are all these people that we're sending money to? And USCIS is not necessarily that privy to that stuff right now. So just make your own bank account separate. Make your Susu account different. The account that you're using to save money, make that different. And then use your own regular account for your own regular stuff for you and your spouse. Same applies to savings account. Savings account, obviously, you're not going to be spending a lot from it because it's a savings account, but you want to put in money there to show that you're saving. Then the other thing is having a joint lease agreement. And if you do have a joint lease agreement where it has both your name, make sure both of you have signed that lease. And it's not just one person listed. Make sure both of you have signed that lease. If the person has, credit issues or whatever it is that makes them not able to get on the lease, that's fine. We can try to explain that. But if the landlord allows them to be a co-occupant, so not necessarily on the list, but a co-occupant, then have them listed as a co-occupant. And again, all these things that I'm listening to you guys, I'm not saying that if you don't have all these things, you're going to get denied. I'm just giving you guys different ideas of things that will help you to prove a bona fide marriage. So of as many of them as you can get, the better for you. Okay. So the next thing is property insurance. So if you guys see me, I keep tapping there because my phone screen keeps going black, so I have to keep pressing it. So property insurance, if you guys have any property insurance, like homeowners insurance, like, when you rent a place, you can get renters insurance. Obviously, if you have a home together, there's homeowners insurance. So if you guys have those things, those really help, right, to show that you have a bona fide marriage. I mentioned insurance earlier. So again, think about it, all kinds of insurance, but the strongest and the one with the most value is health insurance, but still get all the other ones because every little bit helps. Okay. Let's see, what else do I have for you guys? And then, okay, yeah, car ownership. So if you guys have a car together, own your cars together, or have car insurance that both of you are authorized drivers or authorized users on the car insurance. A lot of times when you send car insurances, it's always good with health insurance and car insurance or any kind of insurance that not only do you send us your approval for the insurance, that you send us some invoices, some monthly invoices that have been paid. Because sometimes when USCIS wants to give you a hard time, they will say, okay, yeah, we see you have insurance, but how do we have proof that you've been paying insurance? How do we know that you didn't just set it up and cancel it? Yeah, I would say that they're just being mean and giving a hard time. But just to avoid it, if you have the bills to show that you paid for the insurance, it's good. Add it, just to show, look, we're paying for those bills every month, so you can see it's real. The same applies to, T-Mobile bills, cell phone bills, AT&T, whatever utility bills that you have, where either both your names are listed, or sometimes certain utility bills you can list both your names. I know that personally because I'm married, and some names are my husband's stuff, some names are my stuff. But as long as we can show that all of those bills are on the same address, basically the more stuff you can showing that you have that, put it there. And then another thing that trips people up a lot is their driver's license or your state ID. you know, please make sure that you've updated your addresses. You can't have, oh, you're living in Arkansas and your spouse is living in Maryland as your driver's license. Sometimes you get in there and they'll ask the U.S. citizen spouse, let me see your driver's license. And here you are thinking they're just getting your identification. Sometimes they just want to compare what address is listed on there and what address you have. Let me see if I'm running out of time. All right, guys, just hold on. Let me just check and make sure. Okay, I have a little bit of time to take some questions. And then what else was I gonna say? So, okay, and then letters and cards. Letters and cards are good if you really have nothing else, guys, but honestly, cards are not that great because anybody could write the card, anybody could sign it. So it doesn't have as much weight as some of the other things that I've talked about. And then, you also want evidence of your joint residency. So what some of the things that I already talked about, which are utility bills that you have together, cell phone bill, electric, gas, light, and all those things. Those are good things to show that you live together. And then, if you have records from your children's school showing that, you have joint addresses and any other legal documents, basically, and any other evidence. Sometimes all you have might be even just some text messages between each other. Send those. If you're outside the country, like doing consular processing, a lot of times that's all you have. Send those. Make sure when you're sending those screenshots that you make sure that the phone number is included. So that they can see that is actually the person. Like if you do like WhatsApp video, go to your WhatsApp video history and show all the times that you call that person. Also with people in long distance marriages that are doing outside of the country, a lot of times they have, They have, they have where they use this calling cards like Boss Revolution, VIP, and all those calling cards. A lot of times those apps, you can actually get your statement or your call history. So those are also good evidence of your relationship. And then of course, if you send money, World Remit, Western Union, however you send money, get a history of that. Those things help to show a legitimate relationship. So that's really essentially it. So as many of those things as you can get, those things will help you. So today I am going to try and go live with somebody. Let me see if I can do this. Go live with Lily. Let me see if it's going to work. So I'm going live with somebody on Instagram. I don't think it works on Facebook, but is it working? You see, this is why I said I don't know how to do this. Let's see if I can do it again. Lily, are you still on here? I'm not sure if she's still on here, but I think she typed a question in the comments, so I'm just going to answer it. I'm here. So she says, please, I filed my I-360 only. I went for the biometrics in March of this year, and am I getting my work permit? So Lily, unfortunately, if you filed your I-360 only, your timeline, you're looking at almost 24 months before you get your work permits. Because when you file a VAWA application alone without an adjustment of status application, you're not approved of a work permit until you're approved of VAWA. And VAWA takes 24 months to 2.5 years for approval. So that's going to be your timeline. So, what I would be curious to know is why didn't you do the adjustment of status? Call my office. If you listen to the replay, I think you've probably left the live, but if you listen to the replay, call me and let's understand why you didn't file one and see if you can file one, because that will be, if you do your adjustment of status, you'll be able to get it. My number is 407-995-6567. For those of you on Facebook and Instagram, you can obviously see my phone number going through. Lily says she can't hear me from Instagram. Can you hear me on Facebook then? Can those of you on Instagram hear me? I guess those of you on Instagram can hear me. Okay, let me answer other questions. So Makan on YouTube says, I filed an I-360 and an I-485 in 2017. The I-360 was approved in 2018. My motion to reopen was denied in 2019 because I have a deportation order. They just sent me a medical examination. Is it okay? I need to speak with you just to see what it is, because there's a lot you have going on here based on what you've written. So schedule a consult with me, and then we can discuss what it is. Okay. Um, Somebody asked, please, what is the way out after you've been put in deportation? So have you already been deported, or are you in removal proceedings? So your question is a bit vague. And then somebody else says, good morning, Aisha. I have a question. I was going through a divorce in my home country, and the only thing I needed from there was a decree, but COVID happened and they were taking forever to process it. So I refiled for a divorce here in the US and I got the decree. Will that decree be valid in the eyes of USCIS? Candace, the question is, does your spouse live here? The divorce that you filed here, was it in the United States? If you got a legitimate divorce in the United States, that should be valid, depending on where your spouse is located and the rules in your state is very state specific. So, I don't handle divorce personally. So one of the things that you want to do is speak to a family law attorney or divorce attorney in your state to confirm and ensure that your divorce decree is valid if your spouse is not within the United States and never got married here, because there's some resident requirements, but I don't talk about divorces because I'm not a divorce attorney, so I don't want to steer anybody the wrong way. Okay. This person says, good morning. I came into the US with my boss. I'm taking care of their twins last year on a B1 visa. I would like you to advise me if you need a green card. So you're not going to get a green card based on you being here on a business visa to work for your boss. The only way for you to get a green card is if your employer petitions for you as with unskilled labor. That takes time. So, you might want to look into like an EB3 visa, EB3, which is ultimately a green card. I don't handle business and employment visas. So, you want to contact a business and employment lawyer. Okay, let's see what else I have here. Somebody says, what are some examples of text messages that I can use as marital evidence? Okay, good question. So some examples of text messages are simply that, messages of you and your husband or you and your wife talking to each other, asking the other person, when you go to the grocery store, can you help me pick up some milk? Can you help me pick this up at the grocery store? Your spouse sending you a picture, oh, look what I found, fun, thinking about you, basically anything that shows a relationship. Sometimes send a picture of you guys arguing, because if you're arguing, you clearly have a real marriage, about something. So just pictures of you communicating with your spouse that shows that you are in a real marriage. So those are some good examples. All right, let's see what other questions before I jump off. I don't see any other ones I'm missing. Oh, wow. Good morning from Guyana. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's always fun to know where people are tuning in from. All right, guys, I do have to jump off today. Tomorrow I will be live, but my live will be at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's usually when I come on live on Wednesdays. So definitely tune in. If I didn't get to your question today, ask your question tomorrow. I'll come on live tomorrow and ask a question, okay? And if you want to schedule a consultation with me, schedule one. It's 407-995-6567. That's the easiest way to evaluate your case and let you know what you qualify for. Okay, guys, have a great day. Bye.